Okay.
Wait, let me. Okay, we're live.
Oh, we're live.
Okay, hold on. Before we start, is the sound okay, everybody? Does it sound good? Because I don't know. We were having problems last week. Do I sound like a robot again?
You don't. Not to me.
Okay, cool. Then I think it's fine.
Does my lighting look good? Wait, what's better? I have a. Ooh.
The warmer or whatever. Yeah, that one. Okay, stop changing it.
That one?
Yes.
Wow, I look tan. This is a lie.
Yeah.
I know. My foundation shade is a little bit too dark for my summer skin, but Zach. Hi, Zach.
Zach was like, when are you going in the Liberty Ladies stream? I was like, soon. He asked me about that like a week ago.
Yeah, the first day we did it, he was like, "You should have Olivia on." I was like, "Girl, sure, whatever, girl." Pronouns.
Yeah,
I was like,
no, girl.
I'm like, anytime.
I was like, girl, I'm in the group chat. I just have to find time.
She gets the link every week whenever she wants to join. Courtney's coming and Juliana's coming, so just be patient. Oh yeah, do you guys want to know something weird that happened to me earlier while we wait? Okay, so I have to show you guys my shirt. So I went to Jamba Juice, right? And like, this is just like a skate brand, like Primitive. My brother skates, so he's like buys me things. I don't know. And the back is like the peace sign with like middle fingers in it. And I just thought it was so cool when I bought it. So I bought it. Like, it's just fucking dope. And this guy comes up to me in Jamba Juice and he's like, what is your, what can I ask you your shirt with the fingers? I was like, sure. He's like, does that mean fuck peace? And I was like, no, I didn't really see it that way. I saw it more as like, we want peace, but nobody gets along. Like, fuck everybody, but let's just try to be peaceful. Like, that's how I interpreted the art. And he was like, oh, okay. I just thought you were one of those radicals.
What?
You should have been like, well, you thought correctly. You thought
I was like, no, I'm pretty moderate. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what side of radical he means. I'm like, fuck peace. Like, no, I don't know. I don't interpret the shirt that way, but
that's a very weird thing to ask somebody.
It was. I was like, what do you mean radical? Forest Mommy's here. Hi, Mommy.
Courtney says she's here in the private chat.
Oh, here she is.
Hey.
Hello, everybody. We are here. We are queer, and we are ready to get started. So I'm obviously as unhinged as ever. So I'm going to just take a shot because Olivia is here, and Courtney's friend is here.
We have a cheers here.
So all the time I find an excuse to drink on a Friday. So here we go.
Yeah. Friday, we can.
Friday.
Cheers.
Friday,
Cheers.
I need to get my next one because this one's almost empty.
Go do that. I love that, dude. I wish I could still smoke weed.
Why can't you?
It just gives me crippling anxiety. Like, I don't know what happened. I was a stoner when I was like 18 to like 20. Like, I would smoke every day all the time. And then one day it just started like giving me really bad anxiety. And I just like can't smoke anymore. Like, if I smoke, I just need to lay there for like 8 hours and just like fucking hate myself, really. But sometimes that's a good thing to do, I guess.
No, don't do things that make you hate yourself.
Right. So I just don't really smoke weed anymore.
Zach said, how did you guys get Kamala Harris on here?
You, Zach. I don't like him.
Oh my God. Zach is the best.
No, I don't like him.
I don't like him either.
Okay.
Yes. What's going on?
Well, we have a special guest today as well. Courtney's friend Hannah is here too. I think she's going to talk a little bit later about something very exciting she has going on. So, but in the meantime, Sarah, what you have some thoughts and advice for?
Okay, I had just, if you guys don't know, there's a man in my life now.
We love it.
There's a man, and we'll probably get married. We will get married. It's very weird because we haven't met yet, but when you know. And anyways, I don't even know why I brought that up. I just wanted to get it out there because, people want to know about your life maybe. But we were talking about one of our fellow Twitter friends. I won't say his name, but he doesn't socialize a lot outside of Twitter. And I was like, I feel like that's a lot of the situation for men on Twitter because they're just really like autistic or like socially awkward. And this guy has so much potential to just like go out there and like pull the ladies and get the pussy, but like I don't know if he just has the confidence. So I wanted to talk about just how to not be cringe, basically.
And to not put girls out too, because like I feel like guys think that they're being genuine and nice, and it's like they don't understand how women perceive it. It's like
right.
Like,
and someone else had asked me like, what's the difference between a simp and like just being nice on Twitter? And I feel like that's something that we all can discuss because I think there is a big difference between being a simp and then like just being nice, you know?
Yes.
If anyone would like to start, feel free to give your opinion, but that's my question first. What's the difference between a simp and a being nice?
I think that. So, are we using simp as like a kind of derogatory term?
In the derogatory sense, what's a simp? Yeah,
a simp is a dude that's like just creepy beyond being respectful. Like replying to everything and saying, there's like some comments I read under my tweets or like selfies or whatever sometimes, where it's just like, you wouldn't say that to a girl like in person. Like there's a difference between saying like something genuinely nice, like, oh, you look great, or like, you know, whatever, a genuine compliment about your hair looks great, rather than being like, ooh, let me see what's under your bikini.
Yeah. There's definitely
I think that's it. It's like if you're just straight up gonna like go to the sexual side of things, and like, look, to all the simps out there, if you DM me and you want me to, you know, degrade you, fucking Venmo me $200 and I will do it. Okay, like I don't disrespect real genuine simps. Like I love them. Get me a bag, you know, like we have our little thing, but it's like, it's just, I don't know why these men in comments on like just Twitters that everybody can see want to tweet you like, will you fart on my food? Like I don't know what you're getting out of that. I've gotten that before.
I think some of them have like a real like humiliation kink. Like they want to be a simp. Like there's no way that there's definitely a sect of them that are not self-aware, but there's a sect of them that definitely are, and they know what they're doing is fucking embarrassing, and they get off on that.
Right.
And also another way to be a simp is
I feel like that's not even a simp then.
I think it still isn't
like
simp because most of the time they're like replying all the time. Like they're reply guys. They never get like we never interact with them. Like we never reply to them, and they're still going. I feel like that's still like simp behavior.
Yeah,
but then like if you are one of my reply guys, well, I guess unless they're like, I consider the level like when you're starting to pay me to like degrade you in the DMs, you know what your kinks are, and like, I don't think you're a simp anymore. You know,
I don't know about
there's like, right, that's like a Liberty Thought thing, but like there's like a difference between just like being a weirdo and then like knowing your kink, which is wanting women to degrade you. That's great. You better pay the men, and then just being like nice, you know. So yeah, I don't know. I also, if you want to slide into women's DMs, I would suggest having an icon or pictures of you up. I think it does help.
Yes,
like that's like the thing that I see so much like in my comments. It's like they're like, oh, here, follow me back, or here, like I want to take you on a date, and like literally like it's a picture of like a dog as their Abby. Like I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that?
It's a picture of their
like,
wife.
How far do you think like, that's gonna go?
You're real?
And it's possible to find love on Twitter because
it's not impossible.
Yeah, and
I was just gonna say that. You read my fucking mind. I was like, 2 of the girls in here have boyfriends from Twitter, so it's not impossible. But they both had their face in their profiles when we started following them. So I'm just saying it is possible to find love on Twitter, but you know.
I will say too, I slid into my husband's DMs. So we met at a rodeo, and then he was like interested, whatever. I wasn't interested. I wasn't dating. And 6 months later, I saw a picture, and I don't know. I just kept like seeing his pictures on Instagram, and I was like, this guy's like super cute. And then he ended up commenting on like something, and I messaged him, and then the rest is history. So also, if you are, there's a potential for a girl to slide into your DMs too. You just have to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Be, not weird and creepy, and like show your face. If you want to use Twitter as like a dating service, then like show what you got to offer.
Right.
Juliana,
I think all 3 times.
Yeah, Juliana's in.
Okay, I'll add her. But yeah, I think all 3 times I asked my now boyfriend for first his Snapchat and then his phone number. I asked for his phone number on Snapchat. So like you can definitely make your move. But you got to play it cool. But I guess hi Juliana.
Hi. Wait, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. What do you do, shorties?
We're just talking about men. We're trying to just give.
No, it's okay. I've been here. I was in the waiting room for about like.
I didn't even see you. Sorry, you were on the second row. Okay. But I guess just if you have any questions, you can feel free to leave them in the chat, and I can put them up. But I don't know. I just feel like the men out there that are like autistic a little bit and just aren't sure how to approach women. Like, what is some advice that we could give them to just get them on the right path? You know what I mean?
I would honestly don't listen to all these like dating guru, alpha male guru type people on Twitter. Do not listen to people on Twitter. Like listen to us. Listen to real women. Do not listen to men on Twitter. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Please. Stop. Yeah. Do not listen to like the alpha male guru dating expert type people because they don't know.
They don't. Because girls don't want a guy that's like disgusting, like there's a difference between being like a Chad and then being like an alpha male.
Yeah. Alpha
like, you don't want to be too alpha right away.
Alpha males.
Right. And like if you say that you're an alpha male, you're probably not an alpha male. That's just a fact.
So true, Bessie.
If you call yourself an alpha, you're definitely a beta. Just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
We can tell right away if you're like an alpha, and like that's what we want. So just go. Twitter is a hell site, but you can find love on there. Agreed.
Yep. Someone said, why would anyone seek love on Twitter when people from all over the place are I feel like especially in modern day,
you guys can answer that
on the internet, and like it's just normal, especially with COVID. Like when people are dating, I don't feel like it's weird at all.
I don't think so either. And it's just like there's something about like when you know, like for real. And just that might not be in your local community. So it's like, what am I gonna like tell my boyfriend from Missouri that we're not meant to be because he lives in Missouri? Like, I don't think that that's true. You just when you know, and sometimes you fucking use social media to figure that out. So
yeah, especially I feel like living in such a digital age, it's kind of like not necessarily bound to happen, but I feel like it's more, it's kind of like almost like perpetual in most cases. So it do be happening. But in regards to like how to, I guess, approach women or just how to act in general, this is gonna sound so fucking lame and so cliche, but literally like I cannot emphasize being confident in yourself enough. I literally cannot.
No, that's so true. That's
like
so true.
if you literally, you could be the ugliest motherfucker on the planet, but if you are the most confident motherfucker on the planet, not arrogant, there's a difference. But if you are the most confident motherfucker, like absolutely nothing can stop you. And also at the same time, if you're confident in yourself, one, that you're going to attract a confident woman because confidence attracts confidence. And so, you're also going to be able to spot insecurity in others more, like I feel like vividly. Because once you go from insecure to confident, you kind of can, I feel like, almost see through I guess certain tendencies that you think can be rooted in insecurity or something like that. So if you're able to, I guess, be confident in, whatever it may be, dude, like you got it made. You don't have to be hot. You don't have to be anything like
right. No, like, so when I tweeted, like, I want to help all the autistic little fucks, like, find girlfriends, one of my mutuals, he replied, and he was like, because I was literally like, if you're a 5 out of 10, and you have a good personality, you can score a hot bitch, right? Like some may say that me and Olivia and Hannah, you can. Me, Olivia, and Hannah are all out of our man's leagues, and that's just a fact.
Leave Patriot Day alone. He's cute.
Yes, he's a cutie. Everyone's a cutie.
Thank you.
But we're just like 10s out of 10s. That's all. But that's it. There's more to it than just like looks. And like if you're a solid 5 out of 10, like you can score a woman. And if you're not working out, like I'm sorry, you should do that because one, you're just gonna look better body wise, physically, but two, you're gonna get more confidence. You're gonna literally produce more testosterone. Literally just like feel better about yourself. So I would
I think a lot of that has to do with like respecting yourself.
But yeah, personality is everything.
But yeah, because like if it's like you don't take care of yourself at all, if you just like exist like as a blob and you eat whatever you want,
like if you love yourself, you'll work out.
Or even just like your personal appearance, like you don't brush your teeth, you don't change your sheets, like women aren't gonna be cool with that. Like you need to like take care of yourself so that way like you can show that you could like take care of like someone else too.
Yeah. Right. Very true.
Okay,
exactly. And have confidence. Yes, go ahead.
I think we should just hear. So we kind of have a celebrity on with Liv on tonight. So I think we should kind of like hear about what you do, like what your story is, how you made it to Fox News, because we love a Fox News queen. Just a little like, what do you do?
Oh,
real quick.
I don't know how to answer
Alex
that.
is here.
That's a lot.
Hi, Alex.
Oh, hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex. Why didn't she join? Why didn't she just join?
She can't join right now. I wish she could.
It's
I know.
It's a box dye called Chocolate Cherry. It was from CVS for like $5. So thank you.
Dude, it looks fire.
Love that.
Oh shit! How I got on Fox News? Spike Cohen recommended me. He's friends with Kennedy, and he gave her my name. So that was kind of lit. I felt very cool that somebody cool recommended me to get on.
Thank you, Kanye. Very cool.
To get on Fox initially. The other show I've been on Fox besides Kennedy is Primetime with Lawrence Jones. I met him when I was speaking at Maj Touré's event in 2020, the Solutionary Summit. And Lawrence was also speaking there, so we got to know each other there, and he invited me on his show on Primetime shortly after I started being a regular guest on Fox Business. So I've been on both Fox Business and Fox News. But before that, interesting tidbit, they hit me up, like Fox Digital hit me up in like 2020, so I was 19. And they wanted me to write for their website, but they didn't know how old I was. And so once I told them how old I was and that I had not graduated college yet, they were like, oh, never mind. So I just thought it was funny how like 2 years later I was on Fox News when they approached me for a job like 2 years ago and then they didn't want me. So
was that like an age thing or was it a degree thing? Or
it was a little bit of both. Like I didn't think they wanted it. It was weird because they found me on LinkedIn of all fucking places. My resume was posted there and my graduation year was posted there. So it wasn't like I was hiding the fact that I had not graduated yet because at the time I was still in college. And they called me and they were like, oh, your resume looks great. So I just assumed that they knew that I hadn't graduated yet because it was on my resume. And they were like, how old are you? And I was like 19. And they were like, okay.
Right. But you do not act 19 at all. I remember I met you in Florida and I was like very shocked to hear your age. I just think people are surprised when you can be very like smart and successful at such a young age. Yeah. I thought you were at least like 24 or like 25.
I get that. I just turned 21 like a week ago.
I know. So. Queen, happy birthday.
Hey yo.
Thank you.
Okay, so Olivia, did you start like you kind of blew up on Twitter, right? Which is how you kind of were able to get all these gigs. So do you remember your tweet that made you be like, whoa, this is weird. I'm sort of Twitter famous. Like, what was your one tweet that blew up to like give you
my God. You know? It's like mad embarrassing. So it was 2018. My 4-year Twitter anniversary just came up. So I've been on Twitter for 4 years.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. And I was literally in high school. I was literally like a junior in high school at the time. And I was like super on like the MAGA train at this point in my life because I was the first like political. It was just the first political shit I really knew anything about, you know. because I was pretty much apolitical throughout my life until like the 2016 election. I definitely had like liberal views until I was probably like 13, 14, but didn't really know anything like policy wise. Then, you know, Trump comes around and I was still under the impression that the Republicans were like, I don't know, racist. I was on Tumblr, okay? I was on Tumblr a lot. So that was
same.
And then a lot of my teammates, because I was on the wrestling team in high school, and so it's like all these like white dudes mostly were like, oh yeah, Trump, Trump, Trump. And I was like, ah! So I was like, okay, well, clearly my friends aren't racist because they weren't treating me any type of way. But I kind of did my own research and was like, okay, I guess I am a conservative because I really kind of grew up in a conservative household. Like I grew up in a religious household, grew up, you know, shooting guns, going to church, all this kind of stuff that kind of let me lean more. At the time, I thought I was a Republican. So I made this tweet that went viral that was saying, oh, I get called an Uncle Tom. I get called like a house Negro. And I had a picture of myself in a MAGA hat. Anyways, so that picture went super viral. And then I had like 10K followers in like, I don't know, like a couple of days from it. And so
it's like, weird because it happens really fast. Like all the
sudden, it happened you're like, really fast too.
It happened to me super fast, and so it's just kind of weird. But I feel like you've definitely taken your clout in a different direction. Like going on Fox News, I'm just like, hey, OnlyFans, look at my tits. But you know,
I was a minor when it went viral.
No, that's true. That's true. Really I like already know that I'm like older and what I want to do with my life. It won't affect like what I do won't affect my life choices. But yeah, that's just I don't know. I never really knew how you started out. So
cool. Do you want to keep doing it? Like, do you want to like? Is this like a career like choice for you? Do you want to like keep doing appearances? What's your like ultimate kind of goal with the politics stuff?
So right now I work as a political consultant with Arsenal Media Group. So for people who don't know that, that's like if you see videos with like Ashley St. Clair, Jack Posobiec, Benny Johnson, that's like all of them. So that's what I do. Obviously that's kind of like not at the forefront because people just see me on Twitter and doing Fox and stuff, but I actually do work behind the scenes a lot in politics. I've worked on like 5 or 6 campaigns, including 2 Senate races. So not everything is on Twitter. Not everything is on Fox. I also manage a gubernatorial campaign right now here in Maryland. So there's a lot of stuff that really has nothing to do with social media, but I got into politics because of social media. So even if I like one day, like my Twitter got banned or I deleted my Twitter, I would still be in politics, just kind of like not at the forefront, you know. I'm also into journalism. Because of Twitter, I was like afforded the opportunity to go on podcasts such as like Timcast, and other things. And after, interestingly enough, the first time I went on Timcast, like immediately after we got off live, Tim offered me a writing position on his website. So I also do that on the side, and I write for a couple of different other places. I was at the Daily Caller for a while. They were pretty cool. And then I was at Foundation of Economic Education. I had a 6-month contract with them last year. That was a really cool job because that challenged me to write more about, you know, libertarianism, and really contributed to my shift from like kind of like boomer, you know, conservatism, MAGA train or whatever, which is like, I definitely still hold conservative opinions, but I'm just more libertarian now. But that definitely helped my transition.
I think I'm the same way too. I kind of like I've been like interested in politics since I was like, I don't know, like 16. And I started writing about stuff when I was like 18. And I've definitely shifted more to like the libertarian side. And like, I'm still like a conservative. I still consider myself a conservative. But it's interesting how, like, I don't know what kind of pushed you in that direction, but for me, it was really like social media and Twitter and just learning about like libertarianism. Like I was exposed to it on Twitter. So that's where I
don't think I would have known about libertarianism if it had not been for social media, just because, I mean, this is probably the LP's fault at least a little bit, but there's no advertising. There is no endorsement.
It sucks. They
don't really get on mainstream media. They have like just no presence in the real world. So if I wasn't so chronically online, I probably would have never found out who they were, honestly. Also, I will go on the BB Power Hour. I would love to do that.
Yeah, I will too. I don't know, Blake, you asked me about that. Like, I'll go. And then another question for you, Olivia. Do you feel like you were just thrown this life and this is just what you're living now? Like, it happened so young.
But
you love it though. You love it.
Yeah, so initially it was kind of insane that I blew up overnight, but it definitely was deliberate since then. Like I didn't take that as like, okay, I just had one post go viral, I'm just gonna stop, because that happens all the time. People have posts go viral all the time. Doesn't mean you have to be like an influencer or activist or journalist or whatever. So a lot of it was definitely deliberate. At that time, I tried to use my platform to start making like political videos. So at the time, I was making a lot of comedy videos. A lot of them are taken down off of YouTube now just because they're like embarrassing and cringy now, but there's still a few floating out there. So
you took them off. Okay.
Yeah, no, I definitely like privated a bunch of them, but there's probably still some out there like floating around on Twitter and stuff. But I was doing like little political commentary and comedy here and there, and then I was writing blog posts, for free. Like I wasn't getting paid to write anywhere, but as time went on, I started getting paid to write for things, and then I started to work like at the bottom of the totem pole on campaigns, like door knocking, calling phones and stuff. So I did work my way up from the bottom, I would say, and then as time went on, I'm able to raise my op-ed rate, because now I made at least enough of a name for myself where I can charge people for my opinion, which I think is kind of lit.
Amen.
Like, damn,
that's
people gonna
fucking awesome.
That's lit.
Cool.
But
yeah. I don't know. I say just roll with it. I think some people in life, they do just chase their dreams and they never make it. And then some people are just handed shit because they are meant to take advantage of it, and they're going to do really, really good at it. So I think just keep doing what you're doing, like killing it somehow, obviously. Like,
I was texting Liv, like, I don't know, a while ago, but like, I just think that because most people do perceive you as like a little bit older than you are, like even I forget. I'm like, oh my God, that's right, you're such a baby compared to me. I'm fucking old. And like,
and I'm pretty sure we're similar in age.
I think you, me, and Sarah are like all sort of. Courtney's a little bit younger, but not by too much. But yeah, Liv's the baby. And so it's like, watching someone so young like be so successful in this is super cool. And I think that also it's super important as far as just bringing like a young voice into politics. Like you said, like someone who knows about libertarianism. Now you're kind of like, getting mainstream on Fox News, and you have like a huge opportunity to just like expose people to things. If they're not on Twitter, you can expose them to things that theologies or not theologies, fucking theories and like political systems that they're not aware of, that like I think could catch on. And I think that that's important, is getting that like mainstream like exposure to what are very niche market and corner of the internet.
Yeah,
I think it's definitely a little bit of a victory that somebody, people from our little corner of the niche internet are now getting on Fox, because I got Reed on Fox. He's going on Monday.
Yeah.
That'll be
definitely open doors. And I think it helps people talk about things in a way that's like different. Okay, so we're gonna go a little topic shift here. Last week after the live stream, I went to a party, and there was this girl there. She was like 50% Black and 25% Native American, and then the rest she was white. And we were just talking, and I won't lie, I get a little drunk. Okay, I'm from the Bay Area. I slip up. I say the N-word sometimes. Okay, I apologize. Cancel me now. It's fine. Okay, but anyways, we started talking about politics. And she was just telling me that she was going to UCSB, and basically she was literally being went up to, and people would literally just call her and this is like right now, like she's literally 19. Like people would literally go up to her and like call her the N-word with the hard ER. And like I started crying because I was like, I just felt so bad, because I feel like the problem with this community sometimes is that we don't want to see racial issues because we agree that everybody should be equal. But the thing is, like, there's still problems, right? And so I was like crying. I was like, I feel so bad. I hope you don't care that I said the N-word, like it wasn't. And she was like, no, I don't care about that at all. Like, you're fine. I know you don't have hateful intentions with it. Like, and like, we were just having a really good conversation. So like, I don't know. And I texted you about it because I was like, I truly cannot believe in 2022 that people can still go up to somebody who's Black and say the hard ER and say it in like a hateful way. Like, I was just shocked that was actually still happening. Wow. Because to be honest, to me, I thought that like it was overhyped in the media, you know, but like she's saying that that's still happening to her this day and age. And I'm just like, I don't know, like, what do you think that we can do as like people who are more conservative, where people don't really want to hear about these like racial issues? Like, our community, I know they don't like the whole like BLM thing and like woke thing, but like these are obviously still issues that are happening and we should try to help, right? I mean, people are going to be fucking racist, that's on them, but like, how can we like approach those situations to like get people to listen without it sounding like woke, I guess, you know?
I would say just don't be afraid about talking about your experiences. And it's kind of crazy because I've talked about my experiences with racism before, and I've had conservatives and libertarians in the comments like, that's fake, that didn't happen, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, who are you?
But it does happen.
I get that sometimes racism does seem overblown and played out in this country, especially in the BLM era, but that doesn't mean that everybody's lying about racism. And it's funny that you said you were, you know, it's kind of surprising that people are still being blatantly racist. And I was surprised too the first time I faced blatant racism.
Yeah, I just can't believe it's still happening. Yeah.
I grew up in a very diverse place, like any type of ethnicity, religion, race, nationality. So I didn't really face racism. Like anything like microaggressions probably, but I didn't face like blatant slurs or any racism until I got back in school. And I went to an all-white private boarding school, and I was the one Black kid on an athletic scholarship. So there's 2 targets on my back. I know I look white as fuck right now. My hair is straightened, but I do have an afro, and it's winter, so I am pale.
Right.
Okay, anyways, so I'm like, I got picked on a lot at that school. I'm not just saying, you know, people making jokes. I mean, people called me the N-word.
No, yeah, literally the hard ER. And it's like, that just blows my mind that that's still happening.
I had people there's people who did blackface and sent me a picture of them in blackface saying, haha, we're N-words, like Olivia, send that to me.
Fuck?
I didn't even think
that's what I'm saying. Like, this shit is still happening.
Because I didn't want to be like that snitch. I was like literally tormented at this school. And then at some point, there were several instances where I was just called like, oh, she's the ugly black girl, whatever. And there was one instance that really pissed me off, and these were all by my teammates most of the time, which really sucked because I was with these people. You know, I was away from home. I was in high school. I was like a 16-year-old in a boarding school on the Olympic development team.
Yeah, you're with them majority of the time.
Yeah. So it was just horrible. And we were walking to the store one day to get snacks. And the school was in kind of like, the town that it was in was probably like at least half Black. Like it may have been a majority Black area, but anyways, there were a lot of Black people around surrounding the campus. But the campus itself was very, very white and rich. And one of the girls on my team said, "Oh, I want to get back before it's dark. I don't want to get raped by a Black guy." And I was like, why would you say that? And this is one of the girls that had been saying like the N-word and all that kind of stuff. So at this point, I'm like, I've had it, you know, these girls think it's funny to call me the N-word and torment me, and I had really no friends and stuff. So I go to my coach and I was like, you know, Coach, this bitch Amanda said all this kind of stuff to the N-word, said she's scared of Black people, blah, 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 blah. And then my coach looked me dead ass in the face and was like, well, Olivia, you know, if someone gets bit by a dog, they're going to be scared by dogs. If someone had a bad experience with a Black person, they might still be racist against Black people, but that doesn't mean you should judge them.
Oh my God.
And that was when I knew I had to get out of that school. So that was my experience.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Right. Well, see, that's just what, I don't know. There's just so much of this tension now between like basically, and like I genuinely do feel bad because especially because I grew up in the Bay Area, like Black culture raised us here, like the hyphy movement, like I there's never been an issue that I've seen with Black people. Like at my school, like the Black and the white kids were like the minority. I didn't grow up around racism, so it like still shocks me that it happens, and I don't think I was as aware of it. But it's like, what do we do as people who are slightly more conservative leaning to try to get people to understand that, like, we want to talk about these issues and we're not trying to sound like woke fucking white saviors, but like, I do think these are issues. Why the fuck are people still racist? That blows my fucking mind. Like, I just don't really know how we can approach these things, or if we can at all, if we just have to let these people die out, and one day there won't be racism.
I used to respond to racist comments a lot more than I do now. I just block them because they don't deserve access to my platform or my followers and trying to turn people racist and try to spread their hateful beliefs. And there'll be people in my comments who are not even being racist towards me. Like they'll say something like against Asians or Jewish people and stuff. And I just don't tolerate any form of it. So even if it's not directed against me, I'm just not going to tolerate it. So I think a lot of these people are trolls, so you can't really argue with them or make them make sense. You just got to ignore them and block them out. But when there's somebody who has like a racist experience, I hate when people are always like automatically like, oh, Jussie Smollett. And yes, I hate Jussie for invalidating a lot of people's claims and stories.
Or like George Floyd, even, because he was like a criminal. Yeah, for sure.
They just
but
bring
like
up
that's the thing is I feel like all that like left wokeism, it takes away from like the real issues, and that's why I'm just like, I don't know how to like clear this divide that we actually do need to fix without either being like a fucking lefty white savior or basically just sounding like a racist. Like, I don't know where's the middle ground of that.
Well, I think that, I think it just like comes to like calling people out when they are behaving badly. Like, I come from like a pretty similar area to like Olivia, where I really didn't see much of that like growing up. It wasn't really until I was older. I mean, I went to a church that like we had like tons of minorities there, and that was just kind of normal, and I was used to it. And then like once I got older, then I realized I'm like, oh wait, there's actually people that treat you badly because of like your like ethnic background. Like I didn't even know that was like a thing until I was older. And so I think we just have to call them out. Like I definitely have like met plenty of kind of, I'll call them country folk that are a little bit more regressive. And I think that, be like, hey, like, why would you be mean to like some person that you don't know anything about?
Right.
And just kind of call them out and just be like, well, wait, why are you doing that? Like I have, this friend of mine, that's like that. And like, why would you want to be mean to them? Like, you don't even know them, and just kind of being upfront about it.
Yeah. I think there's ways to,
Oh,
sorry.
No,
I was just going to say, I think there's ways to talk about it while still calling out the fake thing. So still talk about Jussie Smollett and what BS that was, but also talk about, hey, this is still a real issue. There's people that are still being called the N-word. There's people who are persecuted in the way that Jussie Smollett claims he was. And I think it's important to make that balance of talking about both and calling out both. And we, as conservatives, do kind of a bad job of that, but also the left
that's
does.
what I feel really bad about. Yeah. Because I just thought that it didn't exist, and I just had a very like false reality because again of where I grew up, and it's just like
same, Sarah. I didn't hear the N-word with the hard R come out of someone's mouth until I moved out of California.
No, and like a hateful way, and like that's what I'm saying. I
never heard it.
Yeah. Occasionally I'll say it just because of the environment that I grew up in, like I'm allowed to say it and people know that it's not like a hateful thing. And so now it's like, okay, well, if I'm like saying it, and people think it's like most of the people that I've been around, all the people I've been around, they've never been like, you can't say that word, you're white. It's just because of where I grew up. Right. And like, they know I'm not saying it in a hateful way, but now I'm like, well, I don't even know if I want to say it at all because it still does have. So I'm starting to understand some of that, like, wokeism of like canceling people for saying words. And I think it takes like, you just have to experience it. And I don't know, this girl that I was telling you about at the party, she was like the chillest girl. She was like, I don't care that you said that. I wasn't offended at all. You're obviously a very cool person, and I'm literally Black. You're obviously not a racist. But I was just like, what can I, because she said she was dropping out of school. And I was like, well, what can I do to help you? Is there anything I can do? I have a Twitter platform. I have people that have followers. Like, can you record these people calling you out and we can blast them on social media? Like, what can I do to help you? Like I was trying to help, but it's just like, I couldn't even wrap my mind around the fact that it still happens to people. And so I think there's just this weird gap now because of division of like, oh, racism doesn't exist, and then everyone's a race, every white person's a racist. It's
yeah,
like, well,
I also think
in the middle a little bit, you know.
I also think it's because we have just the conservative movement in general. I also think such a small demographic of their following are people of color, but specifically Black Americans. I think that could potentially, mind you, I don't know. Because I mean, yeah, like you mean I'm pasty, so like, you know, I don't know.
Right.
But I mean, it's but I mean, a majority of my friends who, you know, are you know, people of color or again, specifically Black, like, I mean, they like the whole idea of conservatism scares the living shit out of them.
Yeah, and it's starting to make sense. Why?
Yeah, and so I can get it. In my personal opinion, I think the reason why this generation is particularly divisive and scared is because of previous generations. And so, because I mean, like, this generation of conservatism, I believe, is the most accepting branch of conservatism we have today. And it's not been like that in the past. And so I think that, like, you know, they're kind of used to the old, like, you know, also the educational system doesn't help. Everyone is taught that Jim Crow was a bunch of Republicans. Like,
right.
You know, so.
And that Lincoln was a racist. Don't forget that one.
Right. You're never taught real history.
Yeah, and so I think that the educational system and then also generational byproducts and political socialization, I think, have a huge like thing to do with that. However, I think that, you know, if any of us ever, you know, get married and have kids, like, or don't get married and have kids, or, you know, whatever, like, I think that as, I guess, the generations go on, I think it'll get better. I mean, I know that you made a joke earlier about them dying out, but a part of me thinks that's almost low-key the answer because you can't, because like racism is taught. It's not, you're not naturally racist. It's taught. Because I mean, like, again, like, you know, I mean, I would say the first time that I experienced, like, I wouldn't say racism, I would say racial bias, was I was at a competition once, and my father is from Croatia. And, you know, the whole ethnic genocide thing that happened there, and there was a Serbian referee that I had there, and he asked where I was from because of my last name. And I was like, oh, you know, my family's from Croatia, blah, blah, blah. They came here, fled communism, whatever. And immediately did not like me, started like calling these, you know, bullshit, you know, things like that, like, you know, carding me, warning it, like, you know, and like trying to just, you know, essentially just give me a really shitty hard time. And so luckily I was allowed to request a different referee. But I mean, and I was in high school when that happened. And so, I mean, that was, I would say, the first experience first and only experience that I ever, you know, had with any sort of racial bias. But other than that, it's only been witnessed, and it's only ever been by, you know, me being outside of California. I don't know what it is in California. Like, I feel like, you know, obviously now everyone is moving out of California. But, you know, for a while, there was a period of time where everyone was moving to California. And so, you know, like, I feel like because of everyone moving to California, it did become such a huge, diverse boom. And so, you know, I feel like Californians got to really, I feel like, experience the true meaning of diversity before a majority of other states.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I feel like that's probably the only advantage you would have to being in California, besides like pretty weather.
I feel right now, especially being in like the Bay Area, you know, because it's like
the Bay Area is a fucking cesspool, bro. I hate it.
White Karen looks at me and says like, I can't say the N-word. I'm like, well, I'm hanging out with all of my Black friends and friends that let me say it. Like, who are you to tell me that I can't say it? And so then I get more defensive. So it's like, this is just me being honest, you know, you fucking live and learn. So it's like, now I'm just trying to find that middle ground of like, what's good, because it's a very, very diverse place that I grew up. Like I said, as the white person, I was the minority in my high school. It was literally like 70% Asians, 20% Mexicans, and then like I said, the 5% was like Blacks and whites.
Yes, that's honestly.
So it's just, you know, I feel like it. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I am trying to be a little bit more understanding now of the things that actually go on, because I just really didn't know that it was an issue. And I do want to use my platform and this live stream to like bring light to it in whatever way that I can, without being like white people. Because as a white person, I will not feel bad for being born white. I'm sorry. Like, I just won't. This is just how I was born. Just like that's how Black people were born. And like, I'm not a fucking racist, so I don't care what you were born. But like, you know, I don't know. I just feel bad a little bit that I thought that it wasn't an issue, and it is. So
I think like the root of like the whole matter is that people are just hateful in general. You know, whether it's a religion that you have, whether it's, you know, being like an ethnic like minority, people just are hateful. People are mean to you because, you know, that, you know, you're not like them, and that's just something that people do. And so while I do hope that as, you know, kind of the older generations kind of, you know, move out of life and, you know, we kind of start, you know, moving, you know, more of the millennials into kind of the older, you know, age bracket, I hope that does get better. But I think in a certain way, it's not going to completely change, right? Because people have always been judgmental, and they're always going to be hateful, and they'll just find something to be hateful about.
If it's not race, it's religion. If it's not religion, it's politics. There's always going to be something that someone decides they hate you for.
And like for me, this is like an interesting, like almost different like lens, I guess, of racism I've experienced personally, because I feel like you know, I'm Asian, obviously, and like, I don't know, people, instead of like saying derogatory things about Asian people to me or being racist, like because of that, they'll try to strip my Asian identity and be like, oh, well, you're half white, so you don't count. Like you don't count as a person of color because you're half white, or you can pass as white or whatever. And like, that's all hate I've received from the left. And it's like, because I maybe, you know, I feel like whatever, I could maybe pass white, but like I think it's pretty obvious that I'm fucking Asian. And like trying to strip that from me and strip my experience as like an Asian person and say, oh, like you're just white, whatever. That's almost like a different form as well that also still only comes from the left. And it's very, I don't know, it's weird. I don't know if anyone else.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, no, I get it. Because it's like people being to me is like, oh, you have to be racist because you're white. And you say the N-word in a fun party sense. And it's like, well, no, I'm not at all. And those are not my intentions. So like, it's weird that you're calling me. I am actually saying the word because I feel like I'm around people that accept me for who I am, and I accept them for who. So like, I don't know. It's like, you can't push me that I'm a racist because I'm not. Like, there's nothing that I've ever done that's, you know, racist.
Right. And like, I just wonder, like, if other people who like Liv, you're obviously half minority and half white too. Like, I mean, you obviously don't look as white as I could look, but like, do you experience that at all? Like, do you experience people invalidating your blackness because you're part white?
Sometimes. I mean, when my hair is straight, that's usually when I get it. I had one of my friends made a joke because I had straightened my hair to go on Kennedy the other day. And I do a ton of different hairstyles in Kennedy. I've gone like with my natural hair braids. So it wasn't really specifically to go to Kennedy. I just felt like doing it. And afterwards, I took my birthday pictures, and she was like, of course you wait till your hair is straight to take your birthday pictures. This is one of my Black friends. I was like, girl, it wasn't, I'm not trying to like take away my blackness for my birthday pictures. I just have my hair straight because I went on Kennedy earlier that day. And so she meant that lightheartedly, but sometimes on Twitter, people will really take that and run with it and act like I hate my black side or something because I straighten my hair like literally like 3 times a year. I've had definitely a lot of people say it's like a Rachel Dolezal effect where I'm like a white woman trying to look black because, like, you know, obviously when I have my natural hair or when I get braids or something, it definitely is more obvious that I'm black and I look less ambiguous, I would say. But then still people will say, oh, well, you're just trying to look black. And that's what I have a problem with these white girls with the braids and the lip, what's it called? Lip fillers. Cause I'm just like, I don't believe in cultural appropriation. You can do whatever you want. It just looks fucking stupid. And now people think I'm a white girl trying to look black when I'm actually just white. So that's my issue. That's my issue with them. I'm like, I don't want people to think I'm one of y'all. Like, stop trying to look ambiguous. Just look white because pale is beautiful. Right. White people are beautiful. White girls are beautiful. Just look like a white girl. It's nice. Not that. You know what?
I mean, I like tanning because I literally love being in the sun.
That's different.
No, I get. Okay, wait, but so you said something about like the braids. So like for example, so I have a friend who grew up in Oakland, like prostitute, like super runs with the very, very good at Oakland crowd, and she does the braids. And so like when I'm thinking about her, I'm not like you're cultural appropriating. I just feel like it's more where she grew up, right? Or is that
like, I don't believe in I don't think it's like let me make it clear. I don't think it's disrespectful for anybody to wear a different hairstyle. It's just not meant for your hair. Your hair's just gonna fall out.
She's not trying to be black either. That's just kind of where she grew up. I don't know. It's just weird. All this
the thing is though, it's not for your hair type though. That's the thing. Your hair will fall out. It'll break your hair.
That's fair.
So it's for black hair types. I'm not saying somebody is like saying consciously in their head, I'm trying to be black, but you're using a black hairstyle for black hair. So it's just not going to look right. And it's going to actually be detrimental to the health of your hair because a protective style on black hair is actually detrimental to a style that would be on finer or straight hair without.
Oh yeah, God, I could never do that. Right.
So it's like, I'm never mad. Yeah. I'm never mad when I see it, but I'm also just like, people think I look like that because they're used to seeing the white girls do like the overly tan and do the hair and do like the lip fillers. I'm like, damn, that's what I look like basically. But
I remember seeing like there was something on Twitter a while ago where like Ariana Grande, people were making jokes that she was like Asian fishing and like trying to look like a K-pop star, and like honestly I looked at the pictures and she looked suspiciously of my kin, and she's like
low key I did see the pictures.
Yeah, that was
like, it's a weird phenomenon. It's so weird. And also it's weird how in different countries it's different, because if y'all go to Africa, people skin bleach there. Like, or if y'all go to Asia, I had an Asian roommate when I was in boarding school and she bleached her fucking skin. And she was in Taiwan. And she bleached her grandma skin.
My Gigi, so my great grandma is from the Philippines, or was from the Philippines, and my grandma was raised by her in Hawaii, and like it's a thing. Like my Gigi was very pale because she made an effort to be pale. Like it's not a good thing in like Asian people are racist against each other for like the darker Asian people. I don't know if anyone's seen Ali Wong, but she makes a joke about like fancy Asians and jungle Asians. And it's really true that like darker complexion Asians, like Filipinos, like I am, or like, you know, the islander Asians, they try to make their skin lighter because that was the beauty standard. Like being pale was beautiful. And it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy like how that's generational. Like my Gigi was trying to make her skin pale, and my grandma tried to make her skin pale. Like that's just what's considered like beautiful there.
Oh yeah, I won't say who, but I have Filipino people very close to me, and the mother always is like, oh, don't let her go in the sun, she's gonna get not that she's gonna get dark, but it's like I feel like she just thinks that the sun is bad, and like getting dark is like poison.
I don't know. Actually a reason. It's because if you had money and status, you didn't have to work in the fields all day. If you worked in the fields all day, you were obviously tan because you're in the sun.
Right.
So like rice paddies and stuff. And so that's why it's like looked down upon to be darker complexion, is because you're not high status if you're dark complexion.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. I also had friends that were Filipino. They're like some of my best friends in high school. And yeah, they were like, I would be like, oh, here, like, let's go to the pool. Let's do this. And they're like, no, I don't want to get dark. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? Like, I work so hard in the winter, and I would like go to the tanning bed to not look.
No, Sam, I love being like, I don't know. Especially, when you work out, you're like, I want to be tan to show off my muscles more. And it's, I don't know. It's just a weird, because I feel like, again, a lot of these things are not like meant to be racist, right? It's like, if I'll make a little racist joke here and there, I'm obviously not saying it in a racist way. So like, how do you distinguish the difference between like actual racism versus like, I'm just fucking around because I'm a fucking troll, you know? Like, where is the fine line? Or do we just not make a fine line? Do we just let those people die out? Or
it depends on the relationship. Like, I make stupid jokes with my friends. My friends make stupid jokes with me. Like, One of my best friends is a white guy from my wrestling team in high school, and he'll make black jokes. He's made black jokes for like the 6-7 years we've known each other. It's cool because we've known each other for 6-7 years. So I obviously know he's not racist. Like there's definitely a difference between somebody I know making a black joke and some random person on the street saying the same thing. So it's definitely more context. Right. I think all forms of jokes are okay. Like nothing is really off limits.
Yeah, you just have to know if it's a joke or not.
Like just don't make it out of hate. Right. If it's not malicious, if you can pretty much say anything as a joke and I'll be like, you know what, that's fair. Like that's funny.
Yeah. Like one of like the best like jokes that I've ever heard that like had like, I don't know, like some like racial things like in it was like Bill Burr when he's like talking about like the different races and how like white people didn't figure out like that they need to put lotion on but like black people did.
Oh my god,
our
that's
skin
so
ends up being like
funny,
really and stuff. And like he presents it in a way that's like totally fine, and he like is making fun of different groups and stuff. And like no, like that's not bad. Like it's okay to do that.
My comedy, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say comedy is supposed to push boundaries. Comedy is supposed to offend you. But it is
a little bit, right? That's how I feel when I do it. It's just a joke.
And we're the generation that, grew up with South Park and stuff.
Exactly.
So we gotta have all thick skins. But the point being, like, comedy is supposed to offend you, but it depends on your intention behind it. Right. And you can tell by someone's tone if they're saying it in a way of like to insult black people or to insult Asian people, or if it's just a joke and it's just in fun. The difference by how they say it.
You do, yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, like, my personal trainer, she's black, and we've been training for, like, a year and a half. So she's one of my very good friends. And, I told her, I was like, I was on TikTok, and I saw this funny TikTok of a white girl married a black guy. And she said, I had no idea that you were supposed to moisturize right after the shower until I married a black guy. And she started cracking up because it's like, that's just funny. And then she starts telling me about, like, oh yeah, girl, like the white people are mad that their grandmas never told them about the cocoa butter. And like, it was just like a funny, like that's obviously not racist. Like, I'm not going to make a racist. It was just a joke. So I don't know. I feel like everything is just context. And like, if I'm at a party and I accidentally slip up and I say the N-word, I'm not being a racist. And I do feel like I am gonna try and stop saying it. It's just never been something that I had to do because of who I hang out with. But it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to be a little bit less problematic. And now that I know how bad the racism issue is, I don't want to like offend people that I don't mean to. Like, if you're gonna be offended by jokes, that's on you. Right. But I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying things in like a racist way. Like, would I ever go up to a black person and be like, oh, what's up, N-word with the hard ER? No, obviously not. Like, I'm not, that's like, it's just intention. So I don't know. I feel like it was a very interesting thing to experience as a white person that kind of felt like all racism didn't exist, and not all, but like that it was rare, that like it happens more than it does. Because like I said, this girl was 19, literally going to UCSB, and people are coming up to her and saying the hard ER to her. Like, I was so fucking mad. I started crying because I just felt so bad. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help you. And so it's not the white guilt. It was just like the fact that this shit is going on in the world and I couldn't help. And so I don't know if there's like any ways that I can help. I just want to know, Right. I just really wasn't aware. I'm just like, how the fuck in 2022 are you racist? I don't get it.
Yeah, agree. And I think as conservatives too, we like have to, call people out like that are within, the conservative like sector that are being racist. Like, we need to point out, be like, hey, like, we're not cool with this. Like, we see that, they might like the same candidate that we do, but we're not cool with them and what they're doing over there. Right. And we shouldn't be afraid to say that.
Yeah, because I think a lot of it is just having the conversations.
Yeah. Because by being silent on it or not calling it out, we're just encouraging that stereotype for conservatives to continue, that we're all racist, that we don't care about racism, and we do, and we don't like that the world sucks, but we also don't think that it should be blown out of proportion or that all white people are racist and all that.
Yeah, I had people, like, it was actually in, like, a political Facebook group. It was, like, back in, like, 2020, that they, like, blew up at me and, like, for, like, over nothing. And, like, they were calling me a racist and stuff just because, like, that was something that they felt like they could just, like, label me with. And I'm, like, in the 2016 elections, the person that I wanted, like, in the primaries, like, before people started dropping, was Ben Carson. That was
me
the person,
too.
like, I supported. I'm like, well, how can you even say that? Like, one of my good friends in high school, you know, like, she was African American. Like, I had friends in college that were, and I just didn't come from a background where that was something highlighted at all. And if you knew me personally, I don't know how you could think that for a second, but people online just like to like throw labels on you and be like, oh, like you're racist.
100%. Yeah.
And I'm like literally not even everyone that I've ever dated has been white. I'm like, how can you say this about me? You don't even know this stuff.
Yeah. But then they say, oh, well, it's internalized, or oh, it's what's the new one? It's you might not be a racist, but you're not an anti-racist, but they have a new word for it, and it's like,
well, you still
internalized racism or something.
Way, so
yeah. No, I am like, anti-racist. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there. I guess I'll just take the time to say right now, look, I'm a fucking white person, okay? I get pulled over in the Bay Area. My car smells like weed. The cops aren't going to do shit. But here's the thing. I understand that it's an issue, and I do want to help, okay? But I'm also not going to look at a black person and feel bad for them for being black. Because there's not a fucking issue with being black. So for you to tell me that I need to feel bad for a black person and think that they're going through racism all the time, I'm not going to feel that way. But if there is actual racism happening and a real life issue, again, the girl I met at the party, I was like, I will throw fucking hands. I will have all of my Twitter followers get a video of these people calling you that word. We will cancel them. Like, I will do that shit. But that's it. Like, that's it. If you don't experience it, you don't get it. And I don't know. I guess that's all I want to say is if I have not understood racism in the past, I apologize. I do think it's an issue, but I don't think that you should categorize all white people into being racist or not being able to make jokes about it because it's all about intention. So I don't know. That's really all I have to say. And if there are real racists out there, let me know. I have 13,000 followers. Fucking send me their shit. I'll blow it up. We'll cancel them. Okay? That's it. Period. I don't like racism, but
okay. So we need to talk to Hannah because she is doing something very exciting right now, and I will let her talk about it because I don't want to butcher anything. And
well, that's okay. Okay, so I live in, it's called Fountain Hills, Arizona. It's right by Scottsdale. It's the little town, 24,000-ish people. Anyway, I'm running for town council there. I'd be the youngest town council member in the history of the town, which we're younger. We're 1989, but I'm 23.
If you don't, I know that's a rude question to ask a woman, but okay,
no, that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I would be the youngest, and I'm also already one of the more problematic candidates because we love it, right? Just coming in right out of the gate.
We love that. If you're a problem, you're pussy.
Exactly.
What is your most problematic thing that you've done?
So I told Courtney about this earlier, but on Tuesday there was a town council meeting for Fountain Hills, and the week beforehand we had a council member come in and try to bully a business owner because he had my petition out on his counter and another candidate's too, like our petition for signatures to get on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
And he came in and tried to say that it was illegal and that this is against the law, identified himself as a sitting council member, and was just overall just trying to threaten this business owner. And so I made a statement at the town council meeting, and I basically told him, like, and the lady who sent him, which was another sitting council member, I was standing there talking to somebody who's 75, probably. I don't know how old he is, but we're guessing 75. And I'm scolding him at 23 years old and telling him I'm disappointed in his behavior. And And there was the councilwoman.
Like, what he was doing was illegal, right?
Exactly what he was doing. So, well, I don't know if what he was doing was illegal, so I don't necessarily want to say that.
He's literally suppressing votes, but whatever.
Yeah, it is. It could be argued that it's election interference, and it could be argued that it's harassment, right? I mean, you identify yourself as a powerful person in town, and you go in and you bully a business owner.
That's just tacky too.
Yeah, tacky.
Yeah.
See, that's my overall idea. And so the woman who sent him in, she was there the day before, was sweet as pie to this business owner's face, and then left and called her friend and had him come bully him. So she stormed out when my fellow candidate spoke about it before I did. And then she came back because she thought it was safe. Another lady was talking about another issue. And then they call my name. So I come up and I said, Councilwoman Peggy McMahon, I'd invite you to stay for this one. And then said my piece, and she stormed right out of there. So I've caused a whole fuss in town. And then we're also...
waves. We love that.
I love that. I love problematic queens.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I have the entire Liberal Ladies Club in Fountain Hills out for my head. But you know what? If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing this right. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be doing it right.
If people don't hate you, you're not doing something right.
Exactly. Totally. So
when are the election?
The election is August 2nd. So it works kind of weird. It's not a true primary because it's a nonpartisan election.
Okay.
So right now we got 5 people running for 3 seats. If you get 50% of the vote plus 1 vote, then you just get the seat. You don't have to worry about November. If you don't, and if not all 3 seats are filled, you moved on to November, and then it's just the top votes for however many seats are left.
Okay.
So August 2nd, and you can find me at toastfortowncouncil.com. And I'll be posting the video of that statement there as well, probably tonight, if not tomorrow. But yeah, I'm running for town council. It's going pretty well, but because I'm not taking any money from developers or big companies that want to build up my little town that I love, I am running a real lean and mean campaign. So if anyone has a spare $20, I would appreciate it.
I was just about to ask.
Wait, we have a lot.
Like any and all donations that we can either, blast out for people who are who aren't even in Arizona, but we can talk about also like, if you are in Arizona or, whichever area you're in, I don't remember specifically, but we can be like, hey, I could pay attention. Like, it's been like respectfully, this bitch has it going on. Like,
thank you.
Hold on,
we can put it up on screen as well.
Now, if anybody watching wants to send money, I'm gonna put my Venmo in the chat, and I'll make sure all the money gets to her. Cool?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Because that's just easy. I know my Venmo, but.
And I know that we'll have Hannah back on again as well, but do you just want to explain like why you got into politics? Because you had told me this story recently.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was crazy.
So I've always been interested in politics, right? I was always the person that would pick fights with the professor. That's just how I was. But 2020 comes around. I was working in sports events. I was working charity events. No sports, no events. I need a new job. So the first thing that happens is I realized that I had signed up for an internship class at ASU. I need a certain amount of hours at internship ASAP. And so I'm calling around. I find out the Trump campaign has an internship open, and I think, okay, let's do it. I have no interest in working in politics, but this is fine for an internship, right? And I sign up. And the very next day, and I mean, I hadn't posted anything on my social media. I'm not even sure how word got out. The very next day, I start getting messages from girls in my sorority of like, what the hell are you doing? What's wrong with you? This guy's a racist. You're a racist if you worked for him. All this. And so then I started out not really responding, not really doing anything about it. But then Fast forward, and somebody wants me kicked out of the sorority and is causing a fuss, talking behind my back, but being super sweet to me at events where I see her, and I know darn well that she's calling me a racist and whatever else behind my back, and she'll go, "Oh, Hannah, hi," you know. So I find out about that, and I start to figure, okay, if I'm gonna get all this hate, I might as well earn it. And so I start posting on my social media a little bit more, and I get more political. And from there, I became a precinct committeeman. Then I graduate college, and I'm hearing about all this stuff going on in my hometown. And I realized I talk such a big game about the national scale and the federal scale that I need to start doing something where I can actually make a difference, which is my hometown.
Yeah.
We love that. We talked about that.
No, that's literally so cool because, yeah. I mean, go ahead and talk, Hannah. I have nothing to say.
I was just going to say, we talked about that at some point about how you really like start local. Like that's the place you have to pay attention to. The news obviously focuses on, you know, federal level things and the president because that's what most Americans know about and care about, even though they don't realize shit is happening at home, and that's where you can really make a difference. So wow, that's so amazing. So we love that. Good luck. I will be tweeting out your like website and stuff too, so that people will be directed that way. So
we'll make sure that we get it.
What are like your like top 3 goals if you got elected?
Sure. So Fountain Hills right now, we're going through quite the battle. We kind of have 2 paths in front of us. We have schools losing students. We don't have a lot of vitality in town. We never found kind of that keystone business. You know how most small towns, they have the business everybody works at, the Honeywell factory or whatever it is?
Yes.
We don't have that. So we just put it off for years and years and years, and now we don't have anything that brings its employees here, that bring their families here, that send their kids to our school and start that cycle. And we're running out of land. And on top of that, we have some developers that are great, and don't think that I'm totally anti-development. But there's other characters in town that would really like to see us just become another Scottsdale, just more high rises. We can't really do high rises, but you see my point. Just denser, no home ownership, all renting, that kind of thing. And so we have this kind of battle, this tug of war going on of we really need to start making single family homes, affordable single family homes that get students to our schools. And that's the first thing with what little land we have left. And you want to preserve as much of it as you can. You want to do something that's going to bring young people into a town. Our town is median age 59 right now.
Wow. Gross. I hate old people. Boomers.
So yes, lots of boomers. And Fountain Hills, we're a wonderful town, and we are really fighting things like we have detox centers setting up in town. That's a whole issue, and I'll give you the condensed version of it. We have sober living homes. They lease a home in a residential neighborhood, usually $1 million neighborhoods. They bring 15 patients into the home. They're only 10% effective. They're charging $20,000 per month per patient. And they're the 90% that it's not effective for, that aren't sober, are now next to these children and families right next door. And some of them don't even know that there's a business right next door with drug addicts. So we've got that issue. There's only so much that can be done about it because you don't really have the ability to say, I don't want this specific business in my town. But that's a whole other battle. So that's one that I just think there just needs to be more oversight. I shouldn't say regulations because I don't believe in business regulations, just more reporting. They should be licensed. There's several that aren't even licensed to do business in our town. Enforcing our existing laws. And then there's also the third issue, and this is something that everybody can probably relate to. Government is very bad at sticking with their plans. So,
Amen.
Yes. So in our town, we do, it's called the strategic plan, and usually it's updated every 10 years. And it'll be just what I want to see Fountain Hills look like in the next 10 years. Well, the issue with that is we put a bunch of bullet points and nothing is measurable. There's no milestone. There's no, here's what we should have done by the 2-year mark. Nothing like that. It'll just say something to the degree of preserve the beauty of our desert. And tell me how you measure that goal. So it's a huge document. I don't remember exactly. It's about 200 pages. And you flip through each one and you think this was just a bunch of fluff. It sounds like a campaign speech. So those are my 3 things. They're boring, but they're important.
They are important. And politics is boring, and that's just how it is.
Exactly. That's the reality. So
there's no way to make a policy point sound interesting in
no, there's not
perspective. But we support you, and we would vote for you if we could. But instead, we'll just blast you and hope that some of our followers can vote for you.
Yeah, I put Hannah's website in the live chat on YouTube, which you can directly go there to donate and get involved. So.
Yeah, thank you so much. And there are remote opportunities too. I mean, you can send emails or anything. So yeah, check out the website.
We had things to do. Comments asking if they could, if you need volunteers or anything like that. But I know some of those individuals personally, and I know that they don't live in Arizona. So I was
right, but they can maybe have connections. We have people that work on campaigns in the chat, and if you need help with that, we can maybe get you set up with actual organizations that work on campaigns. I won't say who they are because I don't like them, but we can possibly make that happen. So just let us know what we can do to help, and we will. But I do think you are doing good things. I think more young people should be involved in actual politics because not enough are. A lot of people are just shit posting on Twitter about the government and don't actually fucking do anything. And like myself included, I'm trying to get more involved in the local LP because it's like, if I'm going to fucking be on Twitter, I might as well fucking do something with my life, and actually make a difference and not just be on Twitter. So it's good that you're actually doing something because local politics does matter.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's your last line of defense.
Exactly.
And if we learned anything from 2020, it's how important local politics really is, honestly.
Right.
And primaries too.
Yes, and primaries.
Yeah. The people that or the shit that people don't pay attention to, but we will bring attention to it, and that's our goal. So,
thank you, guys.
Thank you, Hannah. And obviously we said we'll all blast you on social media. Liv, when is your next appearance? God damn it. If you know, on Fox. You're muted.
Anyways, I was gonna say I don't actually know. Sometimes they give me like a couple of days notice. Sometimes it's like 3 hours notice. So I usually that part's like low-key crazy, but that usually doesn't happen unless a different guest dropped out like last minute and they just need somebody to fill a slot. So that's happened to me like 2-3 times. But yeah, I usually don't know. Even if it's like the beginning of the week, if I'm going on a Friday, I probably won't know until like Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes Friday morning. So.
But you tweet about it all the time, right? And put on Instagram.
Yeah, like as soon as I know I'm going on, I'll tweet it out. But you'll notice how it's usually like the day before or 2 days before I'm going on.
Okay, cool. So look at Liv's Instagram and her Twitter if you want to see her on Fox. I think we're going to wrap up, and I think we're just going to maybe keep doing Fridays for a minute. People like that the best.
Yeah, Fridays work, and you can always watch them after if you couldn't watch it
you can
live.
always watch them. So we will do next Friday at 6 too. So come out and thank you everybody for watching, everybody for coming on, Liv and Hannah especially.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And if you guys have any requests of things you want us to talk about, just tweet us. We're literally on Twitter all the time. So We do take suggestions
for ideas. Yeah, suggestions.
Yeah, and I think like there's like so much more that I'd love like Hannah to share and like in the future, and I think we'll have her like back again. About how she got kicked off of Twitter because of like some Planned Parenthood stuff.
I was blocked by Planned Parenthood and then booted off of Twitter.
Wow.
So if you can't find my Twitter, that's why.
Making moves. I actually found your Twitter on
make
Google.
a campaign one though. I just made a campaign one like
Let
this
us know what it
morning.
is. We have a lot of people who can plug it.
I think it's Toast for Town Council. I'll text Courtney because I do not remember.
Yeah, let us know.
And she also has some tea on the Arizona GOP that we'd love for her to be able to share as
Lots
well.
of tea on the Arizona GOP.
That.
So
yeah, come back in a few weeks. We'll get you more donations for your campaign, and then we can discuss how things are going.
Yes,
I got your Twitter, Hannah.
Everybody tweet us.
You rock.
It's good.
Yes,
we will plug the Twitter in the comments and go from there. So anyone want to say any goodbyes?
Hi.
That's okay. I'm gonna put Hannah
funeral.
I'm gonna put Hannah's Twitter handle.
Yeah, thank you, Juliana. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just also like to say, Olivia, thanks so much for coming on with us tonight. I'm so glad you could finally be here tonight.
It's good to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you as well. Nice to stream with you guys. I appreciate it. I've streamed with some of you guys. Some of you guys, this is my first time streaming with you, so it's nice to see. Nice to do it.
Queen shit.
We love Olivia. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. See you next week. Bye.